Getting shredded is going to require certain trials and tribulations for you to actually go through. And there's tons of things that will make the process easier for yourself. So today I want to give you 10 of those big tips and tricks that you should definitely be incorporating if you do want to get down to being shredded. So before we get into those tips and tricks, guys, you need to understand what being shredded actually is. Being shredded doesn't just refer to body fat percentage levels. As we all know, that skinny guy who has no body fat percentage on his frame, but also has no muscle mass to go along with that, and as such just looks skinny. So being shredded comes down to a combination of low body fat percentage levels and high amounts of muscle mass to go along with it. The first tip comes down to a question that I get asked all too often, and that comes down to, how do you get something fast? How do I burn fat fast? How do I put on muscle mass fast? How do I lose belly fat fast? It all comes down to trying to find a hack or a cheat code in order to get something done that just does not actually have a cheat code or a hack. This isn't a video game. Getting shredded does not have any XYB, up, down, left, right kind of cheat codes like an Xbox game, like Mortal Kombat. And I find a lot of people use this as a procrastinational tool. Instead of doing the work that they know will get them a little bit closer to their goal, they try and find something that is gonna magically make them burn fat or magically make them put on muscle mass. Instead, cut the shit. Just do the things that you know are going to progress you towards your goal day by day, little by little, and stop trying to get there fast, because things do not happen overnight. Which brings me into my second tip, guys. Don't think that this happens in an instant. This is something that I battled with, these first two tips. Things do not come overnight, and they don't come very, very quick and easy. If they did, every single person would do it. So don't shy away from the hard stuff and be consistent. If there's two main takeaways from this video that you could take away right now, it is going to be to be patient and be persistent on the hard work. Now, even though it won't come as quick as you think or as easy as you may think, it is still possible, and that's something you need to keep in mind. If you don't believe it's possible in the first place, you will never ever get it done. So go in it with a positive mindset. Don't look at the guys in the magazines or Instagram or wherever. Don't look at them and say, damn man, I wish I had better genetics, or I wish I had this, I wish I had that. I wish I could just get to his physique, but I just can't, I can't do it. Don't whip yourself before you even begin. Say, I'm gonna try, and no matter what, I'm gonna progress towards my goal, because I'm gonna put in the work and I'm gonna get it done, because it is possible. And if you believe it's possible, you put in the work, you put in the hours, be patient, you will definitely be able to get it done. Now, number 4 is that it is not as easy as it seems, and there will be negative drawbacks. It's something that you need to just understand going into it. If you do get yourself down to low enough body fat percentage levels, you're going to experience some negative drawback no matter what it is. Whether it just be hunger pains. If you've never experienced hunger in your entire life, as in real hunger pains where you've been dieting, losing weight for prolonged periods of times, for months on end, and then you finally decide that eating just one piece of chicken breast is so euphoric. That is what hunger pains actually is. And that is what you will experience if you finally get down to those shredded levels. So be ready for that. Set yourself up with that mindset of a positive mindset going into it, but also with the fact that sometimes it's gonna be bad and not everything has to feel good. Now, one thing I used to battle with a lot was looking at other people and comparing myself to their said physiques, their said body fat percentage levels, how big they were, how they look. We're comparative beings. It's just how we do. We look at another person, we compare ourselves unconsciously. But what I want you to try and understand is that whilst you might not look like someone else now, it's not due to genetics. And that's something you definitely shouldn't blame. And that's something that I used to think maybe it is just genetics. But that is a big crock of shit. The worst thing you could do is pin it on something that is out of your control, because your genetics, they're set in stone from birth. Once you're birthed out of your mum's, you know what, all right? You're not changing those genetics. So what instead you want to do is focus on the things you can actually control. And that's the effort you put in the gym, the effort you put in the kitchen, with your meals, with your dieting, with your nutrition, stretching, sleep, and everything else in between. Focus on what you can control and forget what you can't. Alongside something that is directly in your control is your nutrition. And something you need to understand, diet is going to play the biggest role in that. It's something you need to grasp, because trying to out-train a bad diet is a recipe for disaster. Literally, if you look it up in the dictionary, recipe for disaster, it'll be listed right there, trying to out-train a bad diet. I guarantee you, because you can't. Let's say you eat 2,000 calories worth of McDonald's. You know how long that's gonna take to actually burn off if you're on just a treadmill. You will need to walk for like 10 hours plus just to burn 200 calories, and that's completely impossible, isn't it? And if you only have that for one meal and you have more than that, it's gonna be impossible to drop fat and get down to shredded levels. So understand that your diet is gonna play the biggest role in anything when it comes to getting shredded. Number 8 is that getting shredded will not get you laid? Now, I need to touch on this because I get this question a lot, like a lot. And something you need to understand is, again, there's no hack to getting laid. You can't just magically, get really shredded and get laid. It just doesn't happen like that. And whilst it can invariably affect your ability to, perform with women in terms of confidence levels, it might impact that. But overall, most times girls aren't actually attracted to super shredded levels of body fat percentage. That's just a fact. Sometimes girls respect the dad bod more than anything. Now, the first time I ever got down to shredded body fat percentage levels with a good amount of muscle mass, I did it pretty strictly. I mean strictly. I didn't have a social life. If I was invited out to eat food or whatever, if I was going out to eat with my girlfriend, I wouldn't. Just wouldn't, all right? It was completely backwards to what, you'd normally do. You'd normally want to go out and enjoy yourself, enjoy your time. When I first did it, I was pedantic, I was obsessive, I was over the top. And that's something you need to understand, is that you don't need to do that in order to get it. I think it's a bit of a misconception that in order to have a good body that you need to live at the gym. But it does not have to be that way. You don't have to give up your social life and your enjoyment in order to get it done. It can be done in a sustainable way whilst enjoying yourself, as long as you do it correctly. The next tip is that it is a little bit more complicated than just moving more and eating less. You need to understand there's a little bit more that you can do to make the fat loss process easier for yourself, rather than just eating less and moving more. There's tons of things like intermittent fasting, there is drinking tons of water, there is eating a higher voluminous amount of food, so focusing on less calorie dense foods, more vegetables, more salads, as well as having things like carbohydrates around your workouts. There's tons more that goes into it. And if you want to see me make a full in-depth video about kind of dieting hacks, then let me know below and I'll definitely get on top of that, guys. Also, while you're down there, be sure to drop a like if you are actually enjoying the video. So when I first started to try and change my body, I weighed about 56 kilograms. It was pretty damn terrible. And from that point in time, what I thought getting shredded is just losing weight, losing body fat percentage. Now, I'm sure you can imagine being 56 kilograms and thinking that losing weight is the option in order to get shredded is not a good idea. Sometimes putting on weight is actually going to make you look more shredded rather than actually dropping body fat. Because as I mentioned, getting shredded comes down to having a good amount of muscle mass already, as well as having low enough body fat percentage. So make sure you tick both boxes. Don't think that you just need to get lean, or just bulk up and continue to bulk up. You need a healthy balance of both to get it done. So that is the final tip, guys. I hope you did enjoy the video. If you did, make sure you drop a like, comment down below anything you want. I'll respond to as many as I can. I look forward to meeting you down there, guys, and I'll catch you in the next one.